First and foremost, congratulations once again. You're a Hockey Hall of Famer. Has it sunk in yet?
When it when it sunk in, it was so great. First of all, the Hall of Fame did a fantastic uh, event, I guess you'd say, 4 or 5 days for all seven of us that got in, our families, our friends. You have a you have a ring ceremony. When you get that, that's kind of cool. You have to get your blazer ceremony. You go to a Leafs game, you drop the puck. We had our own party on the night before with friends, relatives, a lot of my former colleagues, former coaches, assistant general managers, all that stuff, and then you have the induction on Monday. So it's a huge event, and it was just perfect. I couldn't have scripted it any better for what I hoped for. And that moment when it set in, it was actually, and I'd say unfortunately, it was about halfway through my speech. I just I hesitated for a second, and it was like that moment where you go, "What am I doing here?" Like, I'm in the Hockey Hall of Fame. If I had it to do over again, I would have probably just stopped and just told everybody what was on my mind right then, because I wonder what they thought when I hesitated. But I don't know. It's the same old thing we always say. You get into hockey because you love the sport, and everybody wants to be a player. And I tried my best to be a player, and I wasn't quite good enough to do that. So it was pretty natural for me to go on the other side. My dad, as you think, he's in the Hall of Fame also. And he started two expansion franchises, one in Philadelphia and one in Vancouver. And I sort of wanted to follow in his footsteps. So when I had the chance to go to Nashville, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to see if I could do that. I talked to my dad about, watched him over the years and so many things, like what was right with it, what he would do differently, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm so happy I made that decision. And I think Carter would vouch a little bit for this. I mean, Nashville's such a great city. It's grown. The hockey part of it is great. They call it Smashville now, and it's just got better and better. So no regrets, nothing I want to change other than it would be nice to win a couple on the way. But we're really happy with my career, really happy with the hockey. Just a lucky guy, very grateful.
Yes, David. Obviously, so many accomplishments throughout your career. And for me, I think, looking back on it and giving me an opportunity is obviously something that means a lot to me in Nashville. You touched on that. But for you, like, as you reflect on your career, is there one thing you would put your finger on that as your greatest accomplishment? I know it's hard to sum it all up in one point, but, just from the outside looking in here for us.
No, I don't ever look at it that way, because there's wins and losses, highs and lows, and good trades, bad trades, all the different things. I'm really happy with the longevity. I hope there's some consistency to that. I mean, in my years, in Washington, I was very fortunate on timing. I took over a team that had missed the playoffs for, I think, 8 consecutive years, and then we went on to have pretty good success, which has continued for almost 45 years there in Washington. Well, one thing that happened was there in my first 10 days, I made a really huge trade with Montreal Canadiens when traded for Rod Langway, who won 2 Norris trophies, Brian Engblom, Craig Laughlin, and Doug Jarvis. And that was a trade that really changed the whole team competitively, the culture. The team really has never looked back under other leadership, Brian McClellan, George McPhee, and now Chris Patrick. But I think they've had the third best record in the NHL, including the Stanley Cup, over the last 45 years. So pretty proud of that. But I think the longevity, the consistency, I think the builder moniker that I have today for getting into the Hockey Hall of Fame, I think that's appropriate. I feel that's what I was. I feel that's what my dad was, a coach and a manager. He was also a commissioner. So the Poiles are pretty strong in the buildings side of hockey. So proud of that.
Yeah, no, you've done some amazing things, and that's what really stood out for me about your career, just the longevity, as you mentioned, how long you've done it, how long you've been successable. How's retirement going? You enjoying it?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been we're a year and a half into it now. You're going to be jealous of all the things I'm going to tell you now. I mean, where haven't we been? My wife and I, in the last
Nice.
year and a half, we've been to Italy, we've been over to Europe on a cruise, we've been to Greece, we've been to England, we've been to Hawaii. Went to a couple of weeks ago, went to the Sphere in Vegas to see the Eagles play. So I got a lot of making up to do for the last 50 years in hockey, but we're really enjoying it. Again, I'm an advisor with the Preds, and Barry and I have a really strong relationship going back 50 years when he was first a player at my first training camp as a GM with the Washington Capitals. So still doing a few things with with the Preds, and I'm around a bit here and there. And Saturday night was the Preds have started their own called the Golden Hall of Fame, and we brought Shea Weber in on Saturday night to drop the puck, and Shea, Pekka Rinne, and myself are going to be on January 16th. They're going to go into the Preds Golden Hall. So just another good milestone for our franchise in terms of, seems like it was just yesterday, but we've been out 26 years as a franchise, and we have a Hall of Fame player, and Shea Weber, and maybe Pekka Rinne is not too far behind.
Yeah, two guys that had a big impact on my career. And I feel like that's something that I always found playing in Nashville. We had such great leadership with it. It was Pekka, Fisher, Paul Gaustad, Eric Knight. You filled the room with that. You took so much pride in that. Now looking at this Leafs team, with Craig Berube coming there, a former Stanley Cup winner, and what they have, what do you see in this Leafs roster that gives you that potential, to maybe make a run here, get past the first and second round here?
Well, I think first of all, you just started with Craig Berube, and I know Craig pretty well. He played for me and my teams in Washington. To talk about competitive people and play the game the right way or the hard way or what have you. No disrespect to anything that's happened with the Leafs before, but everything kind of is timing. I mean, both their rosters now a little bit more a year more mature and more experienced and been through some really good times and some difficult and disappointing times. And Craig Berube is probably coming in at a really good time and a little bit different approach. So I think the stars are kind of lining up for the Leafs. I have a lot of friends and family that are Leafs fans, and they're forever, as I say, how are your ankles today? They're forever jumping on and off the bandwagon and keep breaking their ankles because they don't believe. But I don't know. They look really good to me. I mean, and they're now they're playing in a situation where without arguably their best player in Austin Matthews, and they're doing very, very well. And that is another, so maybe it's an event that took place, but it's a significant event to see how they handle different things. And that's what the Leafs have always been, every team that doesn't quite get where you think they should go, they always go, they didn't do it here or what have you. So they're doing it without Austin Matthews. So I think I really like the Leafs team. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, it's been really interesting, right? As you referenced, now 7-1-0 without Austin Matthews in the lineup, could return as early as Wednesday here, and a big one against the Florida Panthers on the road. But I want to get in your GM brain a bit. Obviously, just an illustrious career, but Marner and Tavares specifically are in contract years. Do you recall scenarios, situations in your career where you sort of had to make some tough calls like this? Because this is a big topic of discussion in this market, what the Maple Leafs and Brad Treliving specifically should do in the coming months leading up to free agency when it comes to Mitch Marner and John Tavares.
I'm no longer getting paid the big bucks to make those decisions. Everybody's got to do it their own way. I could have your job and I could throw out my opinion, which you're kind of asking at this time, and you guys are free to offer your opinions, and that's what makes the world go round, especially in the Toronto area. But I'm not in Brad Treliving's shoes. I don't know all the ins and outs of what their relationship is and where they should be going. All I know is that these things always seem to get worked out one way or another. Maybe it's not without a little bit of trials and tribulations and some tough moments, but if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And again, it's easy for me to sit here and say that today. And believe me, I probably wouldn't have had that answer a couple of years ago. But you just got to do what's right. You can't force somebody. You can't force somebody to sign. You can't overpay somebody just because that's the right thing to do. I mean, a manager's job is to get your eye on today for sure in the next game, but you have to have a 3 or 4 year plan and how it all fits in. And I do not know the Leafs situation as intimately as maybe I should now, or for sure whatever they know, and they have different things up there in terms of what they got. Players coming up. I mean, you got to fit in a younger player if you're going to sign a guy to a bigger contract. There's 100 different things, but if I'm the Leafs, like if you're just asking me for a quick answer, I'd keep my eye on the ball for this year because they look really good. And it's Marner's meant to sign with the Leafs, and he wants to sign with the Leafs. He'll find a way to do that, whether it's during the season or after the season.
Yeah, I think well spoken, David. Just the fact of the matter is there's so many moving parts that go into it, right? I think even as a player going through free agency and what the process is can be a bit overwhelming, right? Then you start adding in family and everything like that. And, throughout your career, you obviously ended up making a lot of trades, right? Some big ones, obviously Shea Weber to Montreal. But was there any trades that never went through that possibly could have happened with the Leafs or someone specifically that was on the block, right? Because obviously this is a Leaf show, right? So we got to dig in a little bit if there was any history with Toronto back in the day.
I don't think I'm that guy, Carter. I don't think it's, they said, are you going to write a book? I don't think I'm going to write a book. I mean, I've had a couple of trades that I thought were going to happen that didn't happen, and they would have been huge trades. But I don't, as they say, it's not like these people are dead. They're still alive. Yeah. Players are still playing, so, you make 100 calls to maybe make one trade. Just different things, and half the things that you read about aren't even true. Some of the rumors out there, but I get it. You have to, create some interest. I mean, I think I laugh at myself when I don't know if you heard my Hall of Fame speech, but one of the things that I said was that Cliff Fletcher was my mentor, who was the Leafs general manager at one time, and I was young and brash and full of myself, and I would go into his office every day, and I would come up with, I would call the suggestion of the day, like, why aren't we trading this guy? Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? And it was day after day after day. And obviously one day I caught him at the wrong time, and I walked in his office and he pointed his finger, David, if you are ever so lucky to become a general manager, you'll realize what it's like to pull the trigger to make a trade, to uproot a player and his family and change the trajectory of his career. I turned around with my tail through my legs, and I remembered that message. And then what I said is that who would have known at that time that I would go on to have made the most trades ever in the National Hockey League? But I always remember what Cliff said.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of trades and stuff like that. I just, that's also my major takeaway is just how professional you were in handling the media. Obviously, I dealt with you quite a bit when I was with NHL Network Radio. And just because, like, some GMs, like, the media, you can use it to your advantage. Some you don't. Like, I thought you were very quiet in how you did business. You take a passion in doing that, pride in doing that.
I think everybody has their own style. I mean, it's certainly part of the game. I think some people are more comfortable with it than others. I probably put myself in the middle of the road there. I enjoyed the relationships for the most part. Sometimes, just be honest, sometimes the media I thought got a little mean-spirited, not necessarily to me, but to other people in the business. And I think that's really unfortunate when that happens. But I think you try to be as truthful as you can. And when I say that, you can't be truthful all the time. You're protecting your team, whether it be something simple like an injury or just, when they ask you, would you ever trade so-and-so, when you look them right in the eye and say, no, you wouldn't do that. Next week you trade a guy. I mean, I'm not, that's just, you can't do that. So, but, you try to get out in front of them. I don't think you shy away from it or try to hide, so to speak. You just have to, we're in the entertainment business, and people are really like our product, our players, and our team, and they want to be part of it, and they want to report on it. So we have to do that. So I hope I had a decent relationship with the media. I don't think I was a great quote. I don't think I ever wanted to be a great quote. I thought I would like to be just as honest as I possibly could to tell everybody where we are.
I always admired how you did your job. Last but not least, what was it like to have Carter Huttton?
Unbelievable. Not only Carter, but you got his dad too. I mean, how good was that? Now, we had some really good times together. I felt with our team and our chemistry at that time. It felt that was a good time in our career. I hope Carter would feel the same way. I mean, my memories are all really, really good. I don't have any negative memories at all. I got a question for Carter, which I'm pretty proud of. We played now 26, 27 years with the Predators. How many goalies have actually played at least one game with the Predators, Carter?
I don't know that. We were talking about that before you came on. I know there's not a lot of goalies in the history of the team, though. Like, for you guys have done so well with goaltendings. I'm not sure. I don't even know. I'm up there somewhere on the pretty high on the list of wins, I think. And I only played 3 seasons. And majority of the time I was just making sure Pekka had a nice warm coffee between periods.
I think the number is either 12 or 13, which I think is remarkable.
Yeah,
That's I'm giving you credit and all the other goalies that played for us. How cool is that? I mean, I'm sure if you check every other team, I bet it's twice as many goalies. So
yeah, it's so impressive.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously I'm grateful too, because I feel like at that point I was, bouncing around the American League, and I think just you being able to take a chance on me, obviously Mitch and Benny really liked me, but you had the final say and to bring me in there, and obviously change the trajectory of my life and my hockey career. So I will always be grateful, and obviously there's ties between Thunder Bay and the Poile family, but I'm super grateful, my family and I.
Yeah. You're more than welcome. Thank you for your good play with the Predators. Come and see us sometime.
Oh yeah, we're coming down soon. We'll be down there.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
All right, David. Thank you so much for your time. Once again, congratulations. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews. We got clips. We got epic rants by Jay Roseau. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.